Today, my group and I will be discussing a proposed solution to mitigate the drastic flooding that has occurred and will continue to occur in Virginia. To start us off, Jimena is going to take it away and tell y'all a little bit more about Virginia.
So first off, we have to know a little bit more about Virginia itself. So Virginia is a state who experiences flooding, but there is also several locations that are more prone to flooding events than others. Just to state a few of the communities that are greatly affected by flooding are Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News, and many more. These are to be very dangerous zones in case of flooding because of how close they are to the coastline, and which all implements that they will be experiencing more flooding than other communities. So these communities try to help each other out with items such as sandbags, food, etc. in case of flooding. It is very important to give communities like this time to prepare because it can ultimately lead to less destruction in case of a flooding. So, to talk a little bit more about flooding itself, flooding is the most common type of natural disaster in Virginia. And to be more specifically, flash flooding is the most common type of flooding in Virginia, which can be the buildup of gradual or just suddenly. The root of floods can stem from tropical storms, heavy rainfall, tropical depression, or any other weather system. A flood is the overflow of water inland. It can create lots of damage. Hazards associated with flooding range from home destruction. It can also cause diseases, injuries, deaths, and much more. So it is very important to know and let communities know in Virginia of the great destruction it can cause, and we can also help them with our app.
In this proposal, our mitigation plan for this region is to implement a phone application called Virginia Flood Warnings to bring awareness to residents of Virginia. There could potentially be new citizens coming into Virginia who have no idea how to prepare for a flood, and to bring awareness to this hazard, this mobile application can be downloaded through your phone, making it super convenient for everyone to have. A flooding alert app tailored to Virginia residents can be immensely beneficial for several reasons. This app will offer location-specific information such as flood risk levels, evacuation routes, and emergency shelters, tailored to the user's area in Virginia. This is extremely important, especially with the rise of floods that are projected in the coming years. Also, since it is customized information, this ensures that individuals receive the most relevant information for their circumstances. If an individual is new to Virginia or just hasn't experienced floods, this is also good because the app can educate users about various strategies to mitigate flooding risks, such as sandbag placement and elevation of utilities. This empowers residents to take proactive steps to reduce the impact of flooding on their homes and community. Finally, since this app is only for Virginian residents, it makes individuals feel closer and allows them to know that they are not alone during these times. This app will have the ability for community engagement by allowing users to share real-time updates about the flooding conditions in their area. This will not only foster a sense of collaboration and unity, but also allow people to have real-time updates among residents facing similar challenges. As you can see from the photo I provided on the screen, the application will be bright red with the acronym VFW that stands for Virginia Flood Warnings and will be easily accessible and seen on an individual's phone.
We believe that the implementation of a phone application as a mitigation plan will be appropriate and effective in bringing awareness, providing resources, and reducing overall harm that can be caused by flooding in areas of Virginia. With advancing technology and the ability to spread information in real time, cell phones, particularly phone applications, are quickly becoming one of the primary ways people choose to receive timely information. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, 88.2% of Virginian households have access to computers, including smartphones. 79.3% of households have internet access. Therefore, the majority of the state has access to the devices that are necessary for accessing and operating Virginia flood warnings. By simply downloading the app onto their device, Citizens would have access to a plethora of information on how to protect themselves, their homes, or how to evacuate the situation altogether. The app would be especially effective for flooding in Virginia, since floods can develop and become deadly very suddenly. There may be no way for some citizens to receive timely notifications, if any at all, which our app would be able to make convenient to the population. Speed, timeliness, and availability are the most important factors in preventing damage to life and property. By creating awareness and providing ideas on how to mitigate flooding disasters, residents of Virginia can feel more prepared to diminish damage and casualty. They would have access to warnings, visuals, and real-time updates on the location and severity of the flooding.
Sudden floods are a dangerous hazard that we are attempting to mitigate in the state of Virginia. These floods have the potential to move rapidly and cause damages to infrastructure, economies, and most importantly, residents' personal lives. Our estimate for a cellular phone app which will alert residents of incoming flood threats is estimated to cost around $15,000, which would be raised through lobbying for funds with Virginia's government and a GoFundMe program. Our app would work through iOS and Android devices with a step-by-step guide instructing users to allow location sharing with only our app so individuals can receive updates on flood threat levels. Alerts will have distinct ringtones and PSA announcements will be provided through notifications, instructing individuals in the area on proper safety precautions. By creating scenarios where residents are able to be alerted to incoming floods, we are providing greater security for homes, higher percentages of rescue cases, reduced casualties, and overall creating a better well-being for the state of Virginia. Only through a well-funded and planned alert system can residents have better access to the life-saving moments before a flood occurs that could majorly impact your future safety as well as those around you. Our goal is to provide assistance and aid for those who are lacking the proper threat alert systems when it comes to the dangers of fast-paced floods. We are seeking to give residents of Virginia the alert tools and strategies needed so that damages can be reduced and lives can be saved.
The mitigation technique of the phone app is easily implemented throughout the community in Virginia due to common use of smartphones in today's society. This will also be widely available and simple to distribute due to the app being a simple download from the app stores available on all phones. This will allow for quick and easy access to a large amount of the community in Virginia. The creation of an app would be implemented into the community faster than wide-scale physical flooding mitigation due to not having to physically deploy the app and instead would only have to be a simple download. The development of the app is also a very cheap option when compared to creating physical flooding mitigation techniques. The cost of developing an app can range anywhere from $15,000 to $100,000, while the average cost of creating physical mitigation techniques could be anywhere from millions of dollars to even billions, depending on the size and scale that these techniques are deployed across. This makes the development of an app extremely affordable when compared to the creation of physical mitigation techniques. Having the cost of the app be so cheap would make the implementation of it easier since no large amount of finances would be needed to get the app into the community of Virginia. This is also a good option because of the 3.1 million homes in Virginia, 88% have access to smartphones as of 2016, and has most likely only increased since. This would mean that a large majority of the population would have access to the app and would benefit from its use. This makes the app extremely effective in its implementation due to the high quantity of people that it would be available to, and the fact that the process of downloading the app would be fast and understandable, due to it being the same as downloading any other app onto a smartphone. As for those without access to a smartphone, would most likely be able to be in connection with someone who would due to the high quantity of people with smartphones in Virginia.